You're watching WJHG NBC 7. And this is the award-winning News Channel 7 at 6.
After more than a year of debate, the Bay County School Board will make a final decision tonight regarding teacher salaries.
A legislative hearing is getting underway right now. Good afternoon, I'm Nisa Trout.
And I'm Joe Moore. Thanks for joining us for News Channel 7 at 6. Well, Bay County teachers will know tonight whether they'll be getting a pay raise. Many have crowded into the school board meeting room at the district office on Balboa Avenue, where we find News Channel 7's Jennifer Elmore. Jennifer?
Well, Joe, as you can see behind me, this school board room is jam-packed with hundreds of teachers holding up signs asking, pretty much begging for more money from the school board. This is the legislative hearing. Each side will have 30 minutes to present its case, then the school board will make its decision. This is the final decision. Now, even though the board has made its final offer, according to state law, they have to hold a legislative hearing. Now, as you may know, the board and the teachers union, ABCE, have made offers after counteroffers for more than a year. If everything had worked out in the beginning, the raise would have gone into effect last July. The teachers union is asking for a pay raise that would cost the district more than $3 million. Meanwhile, the board is offering about $885,000 total for all teachers. Now, I just got done talking to Chairman Mike Jones, who says he thinks there's about $500,000 out there that could go to teachers, but he doesn't think the rest of the board will see it that way. We'll find out later. Joe?
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Now, the meeting is underway right now. We'll bring you complete details on what the school board members decide tonight on News Channel 7's 10 at 10.
A Pensacola jury is hearing more testimony from prosecution witnesses today in day 3 of Rebecca Falcon trial. 17-year-old Falcon is accused of murdering a Panama City cab driver back in 1997 during a robbery. Today's testimony centered around lab evidence and other inmates who say Falcon told them she committed the murder. The prosecution continued questioning witnesses today, beginning with testimony from lab experts about the evidence found inside the cab driven by Todd Phillips. Fingerprints found in the car were apparently those of Falcon's co-defendant, Clifton Gilchrist. The defense claims that supports its theory that Gilchrist was the shooter, not Falcon. Gilchrist is currently serving a life sentence for the crime. Also, other prosecution witnesses, all former juvenile inmates of Falcon's, claimed she admitted behind bars to them that she was the one who pulled the trigger. Several motions tied up proceedings today as well, including a motion for a mistrial and one for prosecutorial misconduct. And ultimately, both of those motions were denied.
Well, our dry conditions are continuing to leave many to wonder what kind of fire season we'll have this year. Local fire chiefs predict we won't see flames as severe as those in central Florida last year. But firefighters do warn that we could see the same type of fires we experienced last year, like this one in Walton County. But even if we don't have severe burning here, our local firefighters could be called into action in South Florida if help is needed there. Firefighters want to remind you before starting a fire in your yard, call the Division of Forestry for a permit.
In an emergency, it's very important police and EMS workers find your house as quickly as possible. But when house numbers aren't visible or simply aren't there at all, it slows crews down. That's why Panama City leaders made putting numbers on your house a big issue with its PUNT program 3 years ago. But did the program work? Halil Lisa joins us now with the answer. Halil?
Nisa, in my hands I have a copy of the number ordinance, which actually details exactly how homes should post their house number outside. It was all part of a concept that was promoted heavily in a campaign called PUNT, Put Up Numbers Today. The problem is today there are still houses that don't have their numbers clearly posted.
Johnny Harris makes his living keeping others living. As a paramedic, getting quickly to people in distress is crucial.
They get kind of nonchalant because they have the idea that it's never going to happen to me. But one day it will happen to them, and when it happens, they expect you there right then. Was that 327 or was that 331? So you're kind of guessing it.
But at times when finding an address in a hurry is a matter of survival, house numbers not clearly marked can stretch the response time.
It's hard to impress, but seconds do matter in a life and death situation.
That's why an ordinance was created to get everyone to properly mark their homes.
The law requires homeowners to clearly identify their property with numbers at least 4 inches tall.
We were having some problems with locating addresses, and it was a 911 issue as well as a health and safety issue.
But years after the city adopted the ordinance, enforcement has been lacking.
Do you know how many citations have been issued because of lack of compliance?
Yes, I do. I don't think there's been a one.
Still, the city says most people are now aware of the law and are complying.
It really surprises me. I hadn't put
But it's easy to forget.
I had this place painted not too long ago, and really I just forgot to put the numbers back up.
Either way, the city hopes people will realize they're only hurting themselves by not posting the right numbers and the right size.
Now, technically, people not complying with the ordinance can face a fine of up to $100, but the city manager says that since this is not really an aesthetic issue, it's pretty much an individual issue, they are not really going to be intensely enforcing this particular ordinance.
Too bad. Thanks, Halil. EMS crews suggest you avoid painting address numbers the same color as your house. They recommend using large black numbers, which are easily visible. Makes sense.
It certainly does. Well, a presidential helicopter lands at Port Panama City today. And although there was no president inside, it was still a sight to see. News Channel 7's Doug Shoup tells us why the helicopter is here.
4 U.S. presidents and 1 Egyptian president have turned to this chopper for travel. It can fly at speeds up to 120 knots and at a height of 10,000 feet. And pilots say it's a smooth ride.
The insulation in the cabin makes the aircraft extremely quiet for both the pilots and the crew.
The chopper was built for President John F. Kennedy in 1961. Johnson, Nixon, and Carter also flew in it. Then the U.S. government sold it to the Egyptian Air Force to be used by Egyptian President Anwar Sadat. Like any other aircraft, this helicopter needs routine maintenance. A company in Dothan was the successful bidder to do the work, and that is where the chopper has been for about a year.
This was completely overhauled, from a hydraulic system to fuel system to lubricating systems, main rotors, engines. It's basically a brand new aircraft.
This chopper, along with another one just like it, used for Egyptian VIPs, will be loaded onto a barge at Port Panama City and taken back to Egypt later this week. In order to ship these large choppers overseas, flight engineers must actually take the blades off of them and then place them into these large blade cases you see here. These blade cases will then be put onto the barges and shipped back to Egypt with the choppers. And once this flying machine returns to Egypt, another presidential passenger will be waiting. The chopper will carry Egypt's current leader, Hosni Mubarak, into the skies. In Panama City, Doug Shoup, News Channel 7.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Now, the PEMCO World Air Services Company in Dothan also does major renovations on commercial airliners. Another company thinks it can find some fresh new faces for its TV commercials in Destin. Locals turned in their pictures today for the Sea-Doo Company to review when they come into town on Friday. They asked the Okaloosa Film Commission to scout out some new faces for their jet ski commercials that they'll be filming on our beaches in May. This is not the first group that has discovered the photographic possibilities of Northwest Florida.
Year, we've done almost 22 shoots that have been going on continuously. It's one right after another, and 1 week in particular we had 7 going on at the same time. So definitely this area is expanding as a filming production area.
If you'd like to be considered for future productions, call the Okaloosa Film Commission. They'll put your name in their files.
I hear someone turned in King Neptune's picture for that. Well, every morning your children may wait outside for the big yellow bus that takes them to school.
But have you gotten to know the driver who's responsible for your children?
Now I've got my magic bus. Ooh, magic bus. Actually, it's a school bus. I'm Greg Sherrod. We'll get aboard one of these with one of the drivers for Bay District Schools up next on Take This Job and Love It.
Oh, you gotta love Greg Sherrod, don't you? Weather Station 7, here we are. Let's go ahead and show you my first cast. 10 o'clock tonight, mostly clear and 66. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, increasing cloudiness, 70 muggy degrees. Noontime tomorrow, we'll start to see an isolated shower. I emphasize isolated. We'll have details in your forecast right here on News Channel 7 at 6. Stay with us.
You're watching the award-winning News Channel 7 at 6 with Joe Moore and Nisa Trout.
During Adventure 99, buy a Dodge Intrepid, and Dodge will give you your choice of $1,000 cash allowance or a super vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime, and we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Does Pinch a Penny sell more pool chlorine because our prices are so low? Or are our prices so low because we sell so much chlorine? You decide. The fact is, if you took all the chlorine that Pinch a Penny sells every year for all the pools in Pinch a Penny land, you'd have enough to build a castle this big.
And that's no fairy tale.
So if you want to swim and save happily ever after, get to Pinch a Penny, because why pay a penny more when you can get savings this big?
GTCom is introducing new One Plus calling plans, Straight Talk and Straight Talk Plus. Both plans are simple to use and contain no hidden charges. You can make calls anytime, day or night, any day of the week, and receive rates as low as 10 cents per minute. Call us right now to sign up for one of our Straight Talk calling plans and get information about our 800 travel card and our 800 inbound service. GTCom, your telecommunications company for the 21st century.
Waylon and I started Manuel & Thompson to offer our legal experience and skill to people who need representation in matters involving personal injury, accidental death, and insurance disputes.
With over 20 years combined experience in these areas, Manuel & Thompson is a firm founded on ethics, competence, and jury trial experience.
If you need our help, please call for a free consultation or more information about our firm.
Serving Graceville, Bonifay, Panama City, and the entire Emerald Coast. News Channel 7 continues now.
When your kids get on the school bus in the morning, it's good to know they're in safe hands.
Especially when the driver takes pride in his job and puts the kids' safety first. Greg Sherritt introduces us to one such driver in this week's Take This Job and Love It.
Among the many folks who drive buses for the Bay County school system is a fella named Pete Max. His day starts early, 6 a.m., and doesn't end until after 4 p.m. The Fountain resident is in his 9th year behind the wheel of the big yellow taxi.
Well, it's probably the most exciting job that I've ever had. It's probably the most challenging, but by far it's the most rewarding.
Pete describes himself as one of the toughest drivers in the system. He stresses safety and makes sure the kids live by it.
Lights on! Because they get hurt on that bus, it's my fault. So I can make them mad, send them home crying, they're okay, they're going to ride tomorrow. If I let him get hurt and he's not going to ride tomorrow, I got to explain to Mom and Daddy why.
Pete has one of the longest routes in Bay County, logging around 165 miles per day, transporting 81 high school students and 70 elementary kids. He's got one beef, though. Motorists, who he says occasionally fail to pay attention during frequent bus stops.
The more that we can keep the public advised of how dangerous it is passing the school bus, if they understand the danger involved, an awful lot of them just wouldn't do it. Because we hauling something that cannot be replaced. You look back there behind me, you can see about 35, 40 head of kids, and they're awful precious to us, and you know what that means to their mom and dads. All right, see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one.
In Bay County, Greg Sherritt, News Channel 7.
Well, Pete is also responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of his bus.
I'll tell you what, and Pete has the patience of Job,
Yes,
too,
he
doesn't
has.
he? You have
He has to.
Yes. It's another beautiful, breezy day in our area, but that could change in the next couple of days.
So we could
hope,
finally see some much-needed rain. Tom's in next with the weather.
Get Storm Track 7 weather updates all day long on Island 106 and 97X.
Great. Put all my money into high yield fund and the market takes a dive. I should have put it in a...
I can't believe his parents are going to be staying with us for a week. What am I going to cook? I'm going to have to clean everything. Oh, I have to irritate the vegetables.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round.
When was the last time you went to Baskin-Robbins for a Cappuccino Blast? A creamy frozen coffee drink made from fresh roasted coffee beans. The $1.99 Cappuccino Blast, regular or decaf at Baskin-Robbins. Happiness served daily.
Have you been injured in an accident? Do you know your legal rights? Call Vince Bruner & Associates for a free appointment. We can help.
Call Vince Bruner & Associates at 1-800-BRUNER-1.
It's the way parents always try to insist on doing just what's right for their kids. The way kids prefer getting just what they want from their parents. And it's the way both sides feel even happier when they've come to some mutual agreement.
Agreeing is easy at Subway. With every kids pack, you can get one of 4 toys from the new animated movie, The King and I, like Dancing King and Anna.
Subway. It's the way a sandwich should be.
I like reading so much, I read past my bedtime. I don't care about bedtime, I just read.
I can add fractions, subtract fractions, divide fractions, anything with fractions.
At Sylvan Learning Center, 8 out of 10 students improve their reading or math skills by 1 full grade level in only 5 months.
I can do anything with math. I love math.
Call your Sylvan Learning Center today in Panama City or Fort Walton Beach, because success is learned.
Weather's brought to you in part by Movie Gallery, where the biggest hits are here now, guaranteed.
The most dependable forecast with the Storm Track 7 weather team's Tom Russell.
Tom looking a little different from that picture there just a second ago. Still growing the little stubble there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, our friend Steve Hathaway lives in Panama City. He sends us letters from time to time. He sent us a Wait for Rain survival kit. Would you like to open it?
Oh, you're going to make me open
go ahead.
this? I know, Steve.
That's it.
A Band-Aid.
And a razor.
And a razor. For those that don't know, Tom is not going to shave till it rains here in Bay County.
So
must rain in Bay Pine Log
Bay
counts.
County, is that the rule?
Yeah, in Bay County.
Well, hopefully we will go ahead and see some rain tomorrow.
We have some great new toys for you to play with.
We're going to show you some brand
Double the power of the formerly most powerful weather equipment. Good
NASA
stuff. NASA
often consults us.
Oh, so that's good.
Let's go ahead and show you exactly what we're talking about. You know, you're on the phone all day with, can we launch the shuttle? Can we not launch? 69 degrees at the Panama City Beach and dew points at 62. Humidity is up there. You're familiar with this. This is our Storm Tracker Network. We showed you this. What did we do? We did this about a year ago, I think. We brought this on. And we have these weather stations all over where we show you different weather conditions. Right here on the beach, boy, have we seen a southerly breeze. Very, very gusty. Check that out, up to 13 miles an hour. So this is what we've been seeing. We will see these winds increase even on into tomorrow. So if you have boating plans, you might want to make alternate plans if you can. Let's go ahead and knock this out of the way, show you some other temperatures. We've been very warm today. 82 in Marietta, 81 in Tallahassee, 77 at the airport, 75 in Apalachicola. Now let's zoom out and we'll tell you something new that we can use with our new technology that we were talking about. Joe mentioned this comes to us from a company called Weather Central, and what we can do now is not only show you just the satellite or just the radar, but we can combine the two. You can get an idea of not only where the rain is in the green and the yellows here, but also where the cloud cover is all in one picture. So that's kind of cool. Kind of a canopy over here over top of us here in the Panhandle, so we've been seeing plenty of sunshine throughout the day today, but we do have some severe weather to talk about as far as western portions of Louisiana on up into Arkansas. This has become a very powerful storm. Matter of fact, there is a tornado watch in this area, and that will continue through the next couple hours, through the evening hours. Let's zoom out and kind of talk about what's happening big picture-wise. High pressure has been in control. That's what's been keeping us so darn nice. Humidity's been low. It's been very comfortable. Now, this area of low pressure is going to not only come our way, but it's going to kind of move off to the north and east. As it does, we're going to pull up a little bit of moisture. Let's zoom in and show you what we're talking about, give you an idea what can happen shower-wise as we bring up some of that Gulf of Mexico moisture as we look into the southeast. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I like that little 3D animation there, we call that. So the front comes through tomorrow. As we do, we see a slight chance of a shower, and I emphasize slight because we're on the tail end of this thing, and as we get down to this far south of that cold front, we are going to possibly see, you know, a 30 or 40% chance of showers. A little better chance inland, a little better chance to the west. Bay, Gulf, and Franklin, you're only looking at about a 30% chance of seeing a shower tomorrow, and boy, we need it. Tide Tracker 7 checks out like this. High tide at 4 o'clock, or low tide at 4 o'clock, high tide at 11:45. These are those shallow neap tides, so the Panama City pass tide there, just 0.3 of a foot. Appalachian St. Joe, 4 o'clock is a high tide, 10:45 Eastern. That's your low tide, and your range there at Appalachia at just over a foot. Here's a check on the river levels. The Apalachicola at Bluntstown checks in at 5.35. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville at almost 4.5, and the Chipola in Marietta at just over 6. Here's your forecast then. Increasing clouds throughout the evening. Not a bad evening. Overnight lows will be on the muggy side, 61 to 65. Winds are out of the south at 15. We showed you how those are picking up as we head into tomorrow. Couple of isolated showers. We'll wake up with some sunshine, but then as the afternoon wears on, we'll have a better chance of seeing a shower. Highs in the upper 70s to right around 80. Winds are southwest at 20, so there should be a small craft advisory in effect for tomorrow for sure. Seas, I should say, 4 to 5 feet. The extended forecast as we look ahead, we're going to clear everything out tomorrow night, so we're left with a little bit of cloudiness on Friday. But check out our temperatures. Very nice. Highs right around 70, overnight lows right around 50, and hopefully, guys, if we all think and pray real hard, we'll get some of that the showers
We
tomorrow.
certainly do need the rain.
So how long have you been growing this thing?
Not long. It's pretty, it's pretty sad.
Looks like about a day's growth there.
I know, for you, it's like a week for me, so it's embarrassing.
Maybe it'll rain.
Okay.
Let's hope so.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, the Gulf Coast Triathlon is well on its way to help some local charities. Scott explains in a minute.
And he tells us how junior golfers in the area are getting the chance to compete against each other on a regular basis. Sports is next.
Some say 50's old. Some say 50's not old enough. 2, please.
Oh, you have to be 65 with a discount.
But South Trust Bank does 50 right, because that's how young you have to be to qualify for their silver service checking.
I'd get free checking and a lot of other free vision discounts.
Here are your free traveler's checks, Mr. Reynolds.
Wow, thank you. Hey, you're going to be a senior citizen. Might as well enjoy it while you're young.
Sports is brought to you in part by Hardee's.
This is News Channel 7 Sports with Scott Rossman.
Scott said no other sports.
And the junior or the younger golfers in this area, great opportunity.
Yeah, it appears that there's going to be a real competitive environment cropping up for them. Okay, so you're a youngster in the area who likes to hit the links, but you're having trouble finding that competitive environment. Well, now there's a way for junior golfers to face their peers in tournament play on a regular basis. It's called the Break-Even Junior Golf Tour. Paul Joseph tells us what the tour is all about and how it has plenty of room to grow.
Finding a course in Bay County to play on is not a problem for kids who golf. What has been difficult to find in the county are tournaments that kids can't compete in. The nonprofit Break-Even Junior Tour has created those tournaments for girls and boys to take their shot at competitive golf.
Just go out there to have fun, and then we compete against each other, and it's just a good experience to go out there and try to beat each other.
Really, I try my hardest in just about every tournament that I play in, just try to keep us good swing going, good tempo, just try to have fun.
Besides knowing how to play golf, there are 5 rules to follow on the tour.
Discipline, character, attitude, fun, and good golf is what we're trying to promote.
And what are youngsters learning to do better on the tour?
Check the distance, check what way the wind's blowing.
This break-even tournament is something that both players and organizers are planning on being a breakthrough to keep kids golfing year-round.
Right now we have tournaments scheduled officially on our calendar through July 29th, and I anticipate tournaments in August and all the months that follow. This could go on forever. And what I'm hoping is that this will build and grow, and maybe by the end of the summer we'll have 75 participating.
As the number of players on the tour grows, the tour itself grows its roots deeper into Bay County courses. Paul Joseph, News Channel 7 Sports.
Now, junior golfers will be playing in their next tournament this Saturday at the Bay Dunes Golf Club. Eventually, the tour will hit every area course. All any kid has to do to play in a tournament is pay $15 and sign up 3 days before the tournament. Well, on to the latest triathlon happenings. With the race just over 3 weeks away now, GCT officials are working to raise some big bucks for local charities. In fact, they are taking advantage of the fact they've sold out all 1,700 place entry spots.
This is the first year that we've sold out like this, and currently we're offering 50 additional entry slots at $300 a piece to benefit local charities. The check will be made out directly to the local charities, and so far, when we announced it to the end of last week, we've sold about 20, and we're going to, as I said, we're going to sell 50, so I expect that we're going to sell off 50. That's how high the demand is this year to get in the race.
And selling all 50 charity spots means $15 grand for organizations like the Boys and Girls Club and the Panama City Marine Institute. The 99 GCT is May 8th. Well, on to the bigs, and don't look now, but there's a slugger in Chicago on a bit of a power binge. But no, it's not Sammy Sosa. It's Glenn Allen Hill. Hill knocking in 3 runs today with 2 homers against the visiting Reds. That helping the Cubbies to a 5-4 win. For Hill, it's home runs number 3 and 4, tying him with McGuire, Mondesi, Bell, Rodriguez, and Rowland for the big league lead in home runs. Wouldn't that be wild if another Cubs player hit 50 or 60 home runs other than Sammy?
And the year after, huh?
Yeah, maybe that ballpark has something to do with it.
It might have.
It's those magnets in the ground, that's what it is. Thanks, Scott. We're back with more in just a moment.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Ziegler Meats.
serving Graceville, Bonifay, Panama City, and the entire Emerald Coast. News Channel 7 continues now.
Well, there's a lot more news, weather, and sports heading your way tonight on News Channel 7's 10 at 10.
And here's a look at some of what you can expect. If you haven't finished your tax returns, you better get busy. The deadline's tomorrow, and the local post office is expecting a rush of last-minute filers. We'll have a preview. And all this dry weather we're getting may be good for tourism, but it isn't good for your allergies. Even people who aren't normally bothered by allergies are getting sick. But there is help. We'll tell you all about it, along with the forecast and all the sports action tonight on News Channel 7. 10 at 10.
I want you guys to know that I lived up to my New Year's resolution. I did not wait till April 15th to file my taxes this year.
I'm very, very
I got it in
proud
the mail
of you.
at noon today.
Yeah, I figured that.
What's coming up in weather for us? Maybe some rain still?
Yeah, hopefully some rain at this point. We're only talking about a 30 or 40% chance, but boy, if it falls on your house, you're feeling pretty good.
We certainly do need it.
And I'd like to say it could not rain for 3 months and Tom still wouldn't have a beard.
Seems that way.
That is all our time for this evening. Thanks a lot for checking us out. We'll see you tonight at 10.
Dateline Wednesday, it's time for another crash test.